Okay.
Well, hello and welcome to my world, folks. Welcome to Talk Leadership with Cedrick. You know, everybody needs a little TLC, and this is the Thursday edition of Talk Leadership with Cedrick, and I am Cedrick LaFleur, your host, and I'm excited to be here with you tonight. You know, Talk Leadership with Cedrick is where we focus on leadership and personal growth with business leaders, educators, and local thought leaders. Our goal is to introduce our audience to leaders who are making an impact with innovative ideas. Our guiding leadership principle is the law of contribution, which says growing yourself enables us to grow others. So you can't give what you don't have. So first, you must grow yourself in order to grow others. We believe that outstanding leaders like yourself will help us to help others. So tonight, we have another dynamic leader with us, folks, and I'm excited to have this gentleman on here. And you know, folks, you know, every week I like to do a proper introduction of my guest. So let me do a proper introduction of our guest tonight. So Mr. Nwora Fairley, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Cedrick. It's a pleasure.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited to be here with you tonight. So let me read your bio, and then we're going to get going. So Nwora Emeka
Amashi.
Emeka Amashi Fairley, meaning firstborn noble son that knows that which is forthcoming.
That's correct.
Before anything else, Nwora E.A. Fairley is first the loving father of 3 children. Now, Nwora, you're going to have to help me.
Okay. That's fine. You got Naya. That's
Naya Fairley.
Naya Fairley. Then you have Malachi. That's my son. And then you have the baby, which is Naomi.
All right. Awesome. See, I didn't want to butcher up their names because I know our kids can be on each other. So Nwora was born in 3rd Ward, Houston, Texas, folks. And we're coming to you today from the great city of Houston, Texas. And then they moved to North Houston. He graduated from Aldine High School. You know, everybody can't be a charging Indian, so he graduated from Aldine High School. He graduated, folks, in the top 10% of his class, and he was a standout in not one sport, but 3 sports. Nwora is a McNeese State University alum, graduating with a Bachelor of Arts with a focus in graphic design and a Master's in Education in instructional technology. He has also been a proud card-carrying member of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated since 1989, and where he during the time he served for 7 years as the academic advisor for the Epsilon Phi chapter at McNeese State University. Nwora has over 30 years of experience in graphic design, and he is a seasoned designer that turns visions into reality, meaning that he takes stuff that's right here in your head and he turns it into reality, folks. These are great people because let me tell you what, I can visualize things, but turning into reality is different. So we appreciate people like Nwora. With that experience, he created the Lab Design Group, LLC, in 2004, which is the oldest Black-owned graphic design agency in Lake Charles, Louisiana. And he's developed he's become the go-to reputation, or he's developed into, the go-to reputation with clients that has proven to be invaluable to him and to his business. Nwora's sales background has also led him to becoming well-educated in print and social media marketing and management. And we're going to be talking about some of those things tonight. So Nwora has worked with a lot of different agencies, Caxton Parish Marshal Office, One Telemed, NAACP, Nissan, Ford, Chick-fil-A, Phillips 66, Allstate, State Farm. So folks, what you're seeing here is the man has experience, expertise, and he has some major clients that trust in his work. And that's not even all of them that I mentioned. In the early 90s, he designed the original KZWA 104.9 FM radio logo, which became and remains an iconic symbol of the historic legacy left by Mrs. Faye Brown Blackwell. As for his philanthropic activities, Nwora volunteers as a track coach at LaGrange Senior High School, the Lake Charles site coach for U.S. Express Track Club, which is a nonprofit track organization, youth track organization. He is also a member of WOKE, Watching Our Kings Evolve mentoring group for young men. He has a deep love and devotion to assist small to medium-sized business achieve their dreams. In recent years, Nwora joined forces with the Small Business Summit, which is a division of the Lake Charles North Redevelopment Authority, to provide free business training and resources. His latest achievement is being the co-founder of the nonprofit organization, the Lake Charles Black Business Owners. So let's welcome Ms. Nwora Fairley to Talk Leadership with Cedrick. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. It's a pleasure, Cedrick. I really appreciate your time and having me on your show.
Absolutely. Well, you know, Thursdays on Talk Leadership with Cedrick is for bald head black guys with beards.
Yes, indeed.
Nwora, you know, I read your bio, very extensive bio in terms of experience and depth of knowledge with working with in the lab design as well as in nonprofit organizations and giving back to youth. And we're going to talk about some of those things tonight. So, but our audience even though I read it, they like to hear a little bit from you around what got you to where you are today, your journey, if in other words.
Okay. Well, I guess like I say, when it started back as a youth, I always did like to draw, dibble dabble. And it was probably in the 6th grade that I transitioned into just doing art. And I always remember it because I was in class and was drawing a cartoon on the board, and the art teacher was passing by the classroom. And she asked, she stepped in and asked, well, who drew this on the board? And everybody was quiet because like, we're going to get in trouble, And then, I finally was like,
why do you want to know?
yeah. I want to get in trouble. So I finally, raised my hand and say, I did it. And she was like, okay, well, come see me after class. And I was like, oh, here we go. So I went by and seen it. She said, I said, well, am I in trouble? She said, no, you're not in trouble. I saw your work. I liked it. I'd like you to come, and get into my class. I said, well, I can't, I'm in a band. I was playing the saxophone. She said, do you like the saxophone? I said, well, it's all right. She said, well, do you like drawing more than you like the saxophone? I said, oh, well, yes, ma'am. So she said, okay, then well, drop band and come and get my class. So it was crazy because my mom, she didn't buy the instrument. She rented it because she was like, you don't know if you're going to like this. So we just going to do that. So when I came home and told her, she was like, see, that's why I ain't buy that saxophone. So went into that, enjoyed it, continued through high school in art, got a few awards. In Texas, they had the livestock and show rodeo. You just do your artwork and submit it. Got a few awards for that, and ended up going to Eastern New Mexico on a football scholarship, and studying art there. And then I transferred because I still had a love for track, and they really hadn't had established track team. So I ended up transferring to McNeese. And that is where I really was able to hone in on my skills, but working on the computer for the first time. We were working on Apple SEs, black and white apples when they first came out, no hard drives. Now, I don't know if that's telling my age, but it's a lot long I've been in the game. But but now, I really honed in on my skills from McNeese. Marty B was my professor, always encouraged me. And so went from there. And when I graduated, I kind of dibble-dabbled and looked at for, trying to get hired on at agencies. But I always had that mindset when I know what agencies were making. I was like, they're making that much and they're able to pay X amount of people. It's like, well, why am I going to get in the short end of the stick? So I've always kind of just did, had a regular job, but did it on the side and just kept doing that for a while, partnering with some people here and there, but it just never worked out as far as overall. And then I want to say right before 2004 that I made it official, I had decided to say, you know what, let's stop trying to, join other people's businesses. And how about you just create your own and then contract yourself out to those same companies or individuals. So that's where the Lab Design Group got started. And the name came up with because when we was in college, I had a 2-bedroom apartment right across from the baseball stadium. And guys used to always come over, frat brothers, friends, and the back room was my office. And they was like, man, you always in the lab cooking up something, man. What you doing now? So I kind of took that turn and created it and made it to be, the lab. So, and when you hear it, most people, they will sit there and say the lab, we're doing, we back in the lab. You always hear it in different forms. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna run with this. So I did that in 2004, got it started. And that was, usually for, I guess, the next 4 years, I was doing it in conjunction with my job. I was working at Mark Dodge as a salesman and then turned into the internet sales manager. So I was able to use my design skills as in helping develop their website and doing branding and things of that nature. And then in about 2008, I kind of was like, that's kind of when the industry dropped as far as the car business. Mm-hmm. And I was making the same amount of money on the side that I was making selling cars. So I was like, okay, well, it's time for me to go. And pretty much a lot of the managers, already knew that was always my goal. Mm-hmm. I just stayed a little longer, but the benefit that I always give Mark Bonio and that staff is teaching me how to sell. And I use that till this day, the things that they did, Marsh Bice, Joe Weber, the things that they taught me on how to sell, how to listen to people, how to look after hot buttons. So when I'm talking to a client and we're talking about a logo, I'm sitting there listening to them to see what they're wanting, what they're looking for, and truly not trying to put my own into it, but listen to them. So once it hit that 2008, I worked out of the house for 2 years, getting, like I said, just trying to build the reputation, build the brand. And then in 2010, right before that, I had a friend. She mentioned to me, she said, hey, if you want to get bigger, and have bigger clients, you're going to have to step out on your own. And basically that's like my sister friend, Nwora Clofis, but she basically told me that if you want the Phillips, if you want, the big brands, if you want the Chick-fil-A, if you want any of these, Calcasieu Parish, you have to get your own location because they're not going to come and knock on your door to find out where their products are. They want to be able to go to a storefront and say, hey, I didn't get my stuff. I need my stuff. And she was just speaking on, from a negative side, if they're trying to find you. But thankfully, I've always been, there punctual, so nobody had to come looking for me. But from there, 2010 up until last year, COVID, we were right there on Kirkman Street. So basically 10 years in an office, in a storefront, putting in work, establishing us as a brand. And then, of course, when COVID hit, it really just cut it. So, but the good thing is because I'm digital, we didn't necessarily have to have that storefront because when we print, we can send it directly to the client. So there was not necessarily a need. We actually didn't take a huge hit from just still being able to deliver our clients. Now, new clients took a hit, but not necessarily our clients that were already established. So now with this new transition, it actually benefited us with everyone learning Zoom, because now we can meet with anyone across the world. You know, I have clients in Florida, California, of course, Texas, Chicago, well, I say California, but LA, Sacramento. So we're all over, New York. So I got a variety of clients, you know, throughout the country.
So in other words, you in multiple area codes.
Yes, yes, we are. I deal with the school board in Georgia. So and that's with, don't get me wrong, I'm not going to say it's just me. Okay,
No.
it is with the help of building a network. The reason why I'm able to be in Georgia is because of Marcus. And it's kind of like how you say, you just use your network to get further.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You know, I always feel that I can help. You know, I made a shirt for myself that says that I'm the plug. And I got to tell people, I might not know it all. I might not can do it, but I know somebody who can. You know, so I'll reach out to that person and try to connect, because it's not always about me. It's about how do we help the next person grow.
Right. Absolutely.
And that's where we are today. We're still grinding. My mom is I'm actually in Katy right now. But my mom is still holding it down for us in Lake Charles. And of course, I'm back and forth. We want to establish 2 offices, one there and one here. That is the overall goal. And
so literally, Katy is next door to Cypress.
Right.
So we're really next door to each other.
Exactly.
That is awesome. So you're going to establish 2 offices. You said one in Lake Charles and one here in Katy. Okay.
That is the goal. That is the goal.
Okay, awesome. Well, you know, when you're talking about the power of the network, what I have going across the screen, audience, is what Nwora is talking about is the law of significance, which says 1 is too small a number to achieve greatness. See, as an individual, we can do some good things, but as a collective, we can do some great things. And that's what he's talking about, building his network. So we're going to talk about your company, the Lab Design Group, right? And so you said you're already in Lake Charles. You're going to establish one here in Katy. So give us your specialty in terms of the Lab Design Group. I know there's a lot of people that know what you do, but there are going to be some audience members who don't know what the Lab Design Group does.
Our strongest focus is graphic design. So graphic design includes logo design, advertisements, flyers, billboard designs, social media design. So anything dealing with that, I would say that's my go-to strength. I consider myself a Photoshop guru. So, you know, the things that I feel like I'm like really great at, most people don't use me for, which is like photo editing. And doing compositing. So basically taking people out of background, so on and so forth. I mean, I really get a kick out of that. I like it. So I pretty much train and still training pretty much every year. I pay to go to different conferences, whether they're online, and just to keep my skills up, just to learn the software, we stay up to date. So that is our go-to strength, is the core is design. From there, we do website design. We do printing. Now we do more commercial printing. What I mean by that is like bulk. So if somebody wanted, 5,000 flyers to promote their business, well, we push that out there. And we do banners. We've done graduation invitations. We love doing campaigns, political campaigns. We get to, be creative in the design. It's kind of like being creative, but of course in campaigning there's a simplicity to it as well. So one thing that I do pride our business in is that we can separate from the different things. Like, I don't want a doctor's advertising and marketing to look like a tattoo shop.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't want the artist, whether it be an R&B singer or the rapper, to look like a leadership conference.
Yeah.
Okay. So even though it's the same person, the same group, the same entity, there is a separation. So they don't see it. So those are pretty much our main strengths. And when it comes to the social media, we have tools that will help assist a business in, managing their social media. Like too, Cedrick, reputation management is strong. That's why you have a lot of people, talk about giving stars, 5 stars, 2 stars, 3 stars, sending their recommendations in. Well, we try to invest in platforms that can help these businesses. And a lot of times, people just don't know, how much it costs to truly establish yourself in this field. As far as software and platforms, I mean, we spend easily over $1,500 a month.
Oh, wow.
And that's just on that. And when it comes to development, we have spent thousands of dollars in development and investing in things that not only for us to use, but also for my clients, because we feel that if our clients are successful, then they'll continue to need us to help them become successful. So that's why we focus on their success first and foremost.
Sure. Awesome. Well, the folks at Lake Charles Memorial, see my good friend Laura Oz is tuned in with the folks at Lake Charles Memorial, and they say they want to know where you located in Lake Charles.
Okay. So you can go to read the ticker at the bottom, thelabdesigngroup.com. And right now we're not in the office. Okay. So we're basically doing it through website, through Facebook, social media, Instagram. And of course, our phone number is 337-214-4357.
337-214-4357. Awesome. Yeah, because I want to put that out there in the comments as well, so people can see that, and we'll have that excuse me, up on the screen for you right there, so you can see that comment to reach him. And his website is scrolling across the screen, and we'll have that several times throughout the show as well. So tell us, Nwora, what separates your business from other graphic design business organizations?
I would say our originality. I love to do pretty much everything from scratch. Not all the time is it possible, because sometimes you get an idea that really sticks with you, that you liked, and it fits another client. So basically, of course, you can't put 2 clients the same, but when you look at ideas and concepts, we try to give everyone a new, fresh look that is unmatched. So it may be many times, Cedrick, that let's say I'm doing a logo. I may do a search for all the logos that are in that field and look at them and just look at and see what stands out, why it stands out. Why did I look at that one more than this one? And then take that information and pull it in. So I think for us, what stands out is that we actually pay attention to what our clients are in need of and try our best to accomplish that. And sometimes, I mean, there's been times that I felt that I've missed the mark, but the client loved it, but I'm still looking like, I don't like it, but they're like, oh, it's amazing. I love it. And, you give them what they want. That's true. But I don't ever remember a client saying that, yeah, he didn't do it for me and they went somewhere else. Okay. Because we feel that even though the industry and time is money, I still just feel that if I'm paying attention to what my client needs and I can get them to talk and try to express what they want, I can do it. I can get it done. But many times when you can't get it done, it's because you're not getting them to talk and share what their vision is. Get them to do examples, because most people, like you said, they can have it in their head, but they don't know how to visualize it.
Yeah.
So if you can just give them something so they can spark, because once a person, you give them a visual, then they can say, oh, well, I like this font, I like this color, I like this tree. They'll pick different things so that you can put together a cohesive design for them.
Yeah,
I would say that's what separates us, is that, you know, I'm a very, very, very good listener.
Okay. Well, see, and that right there is a key and critical thing, Nwora, because I can visualize something, I can see it, but in terms of saying, well, let me draw, I'm nowhere with that.
That's about 90% of the people. I agree.
I can draw a stick person very good. But we need people like yourself who can take what we're saying and then put it down, and it's just like, man, it just brings things out. And my good friend Shatanya, your friend Shatanya, says you created her vision.
Yeah.
That is that's awesome. So what made you decide? I know you kind of talked about what made you decide to open your business, but what made you decide to jump out and be that entrepreneur? Because it's you know, it's scary sometimes being that entrepreneur, right?
Right. I would say it actually started in the fraternity in Kappa Alpha Psi. When I was in Eastern New Mexico, which is where I pledged, and once we went over, you know, being from Houston, you know, it is always a hustle.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. I mean, we get it in, whether it's cutting grass, selling this, selling T-shirts, whatever. So when we went out there, after I went over and we was having parties, you know, you had your duties when you're a neophyte. So we had to work the door. And so I'm looking and I'm working the door and, you know, understanding, controlling the crowd. And after it was done, you know, like, oh man. And Eastern New Mexico is small. Okay. People think McNeese is small. All right. Eastern New Mexico is kind of like a Suella.
Yeah.
with sports. Okay. But it was a close knit. So I kind of got, okay, all right. So we had to think of things to help, you know, raise money, so on and so forth. And then when I came over to McNeese, which for that transition was a bigger university, and meeting the brothers, and when they had a party, see, that's when Kappa Alpha Psi back in the early 90s, actually the late 80s, early 90s, when they was having the beach parties were epic. So for me to come and see the amount of people that were coming to these events and parties, I was in awe. And when you're doing a party and you seeing the money that can be made, you're like, hey man, you know what? I think I can throw some parties.
Yeah.
So when I graduated, we were still, you know, doing things with the fraternity, you know, like I said, as an advisor and also to just helping. And Ernest McCarty, you might know Bubba. Mm-hmm. And it was one of those things that me and Bubba partnered. We had a company called In Your Face Productions. Mm-hmm. So I've always been doing business, but it started from the fraternity as far as becoming an entrepreneur. And it got to a point that we were paying DJs $700-800 to come and, you know, and DJ. Yeah. And I was like, hey, Bubba, I'm getting tired of paying this money, man. You know, it's like I already liked music, okay? Had a number of CDs. I used to watch my god brother DJ back in high school. So I was like, let me put my hands and see if I can get a hang of this. So said went bought equipment, went bought the new Pioneer CD players. I went all in. I probably disappeared for a month practicing. And after going in, DJ Sweet New was born.
Somebody put that on the screen.
Yeah. So we started doing that. And matter of fact, Marco, I taught Marco. Marco, one of the coldest DJs in the Southwest area. But Shaman Strauss helped me get DJ Double S, helped me, you know, get my bearings, get my music. And from then, we just started doing parties, doing concerts and different things. So like that entrepreneurial spirit started way back then. And like I said, I've actually had a number of businesses here in Lake Charles. The Lab Design Group is actually the third business.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So you deep in it then.
Right.
Okay. All right. So, I saw that you started a series. Well, before we go there, so what makes you smile when you get up in the morning?
To know that I have an opportunity to better myself another day, to better myself. Because everything right now, I ain't gonna say 100%, I say, but 99% is for my kids. I want to leave them a legacy. I want to have more. Like my mom was able to provide more for me than what she did. Okay. So I want to go with leaps and bounds for my kids. So for them three, I want to put them in an even better position to where they can learn and go on, so on and so forth, so that maybe 3 to 4 generations from now, there is no situation of the lack.
Okay. Well, that's a great reason. First of all, scripture says a wise man leaves an inheritance for his children's children, right? So that's a great reason to smile every day in the morning. So that's awesome. So, I saw that you, because I always comment or like it. So you created a series on social media, says Tips Hat. Now, sometimes it just, I die laughing. As some of you may say, right? But tell us, what was the, what gave you the idea, and then what's really the driving force behind Tips Hat?
Okay. I guess it started basically, a lot of people know me. I don't sugarcoat. I pretty much say what's on my mind. I say how it is, and I really don't care how people took it. Now, in talking to friends, people that I got those friends that you may bump heads with or whatever it may be, but over time, it's what that relationship is.
Yeah.
And people used to always try to tell me that, hey, Nwora, it's not necessarily what you're saying, it's how you're saying it. And of course, I'm always like, well, why are people so soft? At the end of the day, truth is the truth. Take it, leave it. I mean, whatever. But if you really are trying to reach people, you don't want to turn people off. I've had, some of that I really do consider, good people and good friends, like Donald Thomas, Derek Morris. These are, on the guy side, from a business standpoint, like say, even Bubba, they have always said that, man, bro, it's like you talk, you say some good stuff, but bro, you just be coming unglued on people, man. He say, yeah, man, you got to chill out. I remember having a conversation with Craig Marks, and he was like, no, you there, they call me New for short. So he's like, you're there. He say, but I need you on this side. I need you on the side to where people can receive what you're giving them. And then of course you have, your other friends like, man, don't change nothing. You keep telling them just like how they take it. It is what it is. So I've been trying to balance it.
Sure, yeah.
Not to go too far here, but then say just enough to like, okay, no disrespect, but hey, this is what it is. So what I wanted to do is be more positive. It's so many times we keep pointing out the negatives. It's easy for us to see the negatives.
Sure.
It's easy for us to see the problems. But let's start talking about solutions. And for me, I just want our people to do better, and to be better. It's not, and I'm not trying to judge anyone. Right. A lot of people when I'm talking about, okay, so we can stand in line for Jordans, but we can't stand in line to vote.
Right.
And me and my son's uncle, Byron Dejan, we always, clowning each other because, you know, he's a Jordan fan, I'm a LeBron fan.
Yeah.
But we always talk about, you know, Jordans and stuff. He'd be like, man, those people, people can spend their money where they want to spend their money. And then I'll be like, no, I'm not saying that they can't do that. I'm just saying, why is it can we go to search of streams and stand in these long lines, but we won't do it on the other end?
Right.
So I've just been trying to curtail a lot of that and just kind of try to throw out little positive snippets that can either make a person think, you know, or share. Because a lot of times when I do post, Cedrick, it's not about me. Somebody has either called me, texted me, or inboxed me, and I just want to see what, you know, the audience in a sense has to say. I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't have 5,000 friends. I never did have, you know, the Facebook limit. But I think that I have whatever, the 2,500, that a good number of people are engaged though. Mm-hmm. So I'd rather take that engagement over the masses. So I just want to throw positive things, especially for those who want to start a business and maybe scared or, you know, don't want to step out. I just want to put something out there positive, but then at the same time, you know, hit them with some raw reality, hit them with a little funniness, but just let them know that, hey, man, you're not in this by yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I like that, and I always read it in the mornings when I get up or whatever. I don't know if you have a specific time you post it, but I see it normally in the morning.
Yeah, I try to do it before lunch, but it's not really a set time.
Yeah, I see it and definitely see it as a positive. And like I said, sometimes something that you'll say, it'll have me laughing. Just whatever comment you said. But then there are times where it does make you go deeper, right? It makes you think about what he's saying. So I think, you know, I like the dose of reality. I like people being authentically themselves. But as we talked about before the show, you know, it's how you send them down that road, right? Makes all the difference in it. Well, we know that leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less. And you have a platform, I have a platform, we have a platform to influence people. Let's do it in a positive, in a positive way. But sometimes, you know, Mike Tyson said, everybody got a plan till they get hit in the mouth. Sometimes you got to hit them in the mouth to make people see it, right?
That's it. And I've heard, you know, I was reading the other day, and it said that, you know, you can't lead the people if you can't feed the people.
Yeah.
You know, so for me, I want to feed the people knowledge, because we always hear that statement, knowledge is power. No, knowledge is just a bunch of information unless you apply it.
Exactly. You
know, so until we start applying the knowledge that we're given, then at the end of the day, that's when that power comes in.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so one of the things I like about it as well, and I'm a big believer in that knowledge is not power, it's potential power. Becomes power when we take it and put it together with action, right? And do something with it. And in our community, we need to do more of that, because there's a lot of intellectual property that we have. It's right here. We have it. We just don't put it into action a lot of the time. So I love it. Keep with the tips hat. So you said there's not you just try to do it before noon, but if someone wanted to, you know, let's say they say, hey, I have an idea for Tips Hat, or I want to get in contact with New about this. How do they do that? Oh,
just on my Facebook page, my personal page, just inbox me on my personal page, which is Nwora Fairley. And I'm glad to receive, because like I said, we're actually thinking about, you know, creating it into a brand, you know, just like your LaFleur leadership, but not necessarily leadership, but just, you know, something in which we can, you know, do some posters that people can hang in their office, T-shirts, you know, just something that people can wear proudly for themselves around, or have something in the background at their new office. We just want to just spread it out like that. So just keep hitting people over the head. And basically when I get the Tips Hat, you know, when you're watching the old cowboy flicks and they always doing like that. One of my friends, she said, "You're the only person I know Tips Hat, but don't never wear a hat." So I was like, so maybe I need to look at a hat then. But I say, well, you're right. But, just more or less saying, hey, I see you. That's all it is.
Exactly. So, Nwora, we have a segment on the show called Would You Rather? Okay. So let's play a round of Would You Rather. All right. It's very easy. It's normally fun. So would you rather meet your great-grandparents or meet your great-grandchildren?
Meet my great-grandchildren.
Great-grandchildren. Would you rather have a life rewind button or a life pause button?
Rewind.
Rewind. All right. Would you rather know all the world's languages or speak with animals?
Ooh. Man, I'll go with all the languages.
All the languages. All right. And audience, you can put your comments in the, which one would you rather do? Would you rather go to dinner alone or go to a concert alone?
Oh, man. I go to dinner alone.
Dinner alone. All right. Would you rather go skydiving or bungee jumping?
I'd rather die. I don't like neither one of them. but for the game, I guess we'll do the bungee jump.
Bungee jump.
It's a little shorter. It's a shorter fall.
Okay. All right. So let me see. Deborah says she'd like to know all the world's languages, and Casey said he'd like to speak with animals. So would you rather be an adult your whole life or be a kid your whole life?
Ooh. Look, after going through life, I would say a kid, but I think I'll do the adult thing. I'll do the adult thing. I'm good with that.
Yeah. So when you're a kid, you're like, man, I can't wait to be an adult. And then when you become an adult, you're like, man, can I go back?
Man, can I go back, please?
Yeah. So would you rather have free Apple products forever, or would you rather have free Wi-Fi wherever you go?
That's a no-brainer. Apple products forever. Everything I got is Apple.
Absolutely. Everything I have is Apple too. Would you rather own your own private island or your own private jet?
Oh, let me get that jet.
Let me get that jet. All right.
I'll just go visit somebody else's island.
A couple more here. Would you rather pick the year you die or the way you die?
The way I die.
The way. And nobody want to know the year.
I don't know that. Because I'll be trying to avoid it.
Wait a minute. It's December 31st. No.
I'm in a closet with nothing around. Make sure I don't die.
You can't find me, God. Would you rather be a ninja or a pirate?
Yeah, let me get that ninja.
The ninja. All right.
Quiet, stealth.
Okay, all right. The last one here. Would you rather have $1 million in Amazon gift cards or $100,000 in real money?
Ooh. Let me get that Amazon gift card because I can turn around and resell that.
Yeah. You probably always shopping on Amazon like everybody else anyway, right?
Anyway. Like I buy somebody else's, hey, I got this for $10 more. We'll find a way. Yeah, we can resell that.
Yeah, that Amazon gift card would be like food stamps. Hey, you want to switch a little?
Right. Right. I got what you need. I got the Amazon.
Exactly. So, what's been one of your biggest challenges this year in doing your entrepreneurial journey so
far? Really, I guess the biggest challenge is, I won't say, let me go back a little bit. Last year was maybe the most challenging, and it could be the most challenging for everyone.
Sure.
And for me, though, it wasn't necessarily business. It was dealing with family death, because I've never experienced that much death in a period of time. So that was the most challenging because, my godmother, my grandmother, my mentor and coach for college, and it was just back to back to back to back, and then it spilled over into this year. Actually, my best friend from high school, actually been knowing that boy since he was junior high, passed away last year too. right before I was coming out here, and we had already talked about what we're going to do. So I guess the biggest challenge going into this year is correcting my mindset. Having to help my mom get through those same types of challenges as she gets older, and keep it basically the mindset to keep the family together, strong, keeping the kids focused, understanding while still trying to do the business.
Yeah. All right. Awesome. So you've been very proactive in terms of trying to build Lake Charles in the Lake Charles community, right? So what are some things that you'd like to see happen in Lake Charles?
Well, the biggest thing I would like to see in Lake Charles is our people changing our mindsets, not focusing so much on what others can do for us, but what we have the strength to do for each other on our own. And I know it's a huge fight for North Lake Charles, but if you look at Central Lake Charles, there's no growth there either. The majority of the growth is south and east. And I had to ask myself that talking to an associate about North versus South, and you have some of the Black community feel that, well, why are y'all coming at us? And to have a separation it's like separation of Blacks. It's almost like the house versus the field, which shouldn't be the case. People, they have a lot of Black folks in South Lake Charles. Some have been there all their lives when it was just fields, just open land that they have, their family had inherited. So that's not their choice. That's what they grew up at.
Right.
That's what they love, just like how people love North Lake Charles. So what I would like to see just from that standpoint is when the South side can speak up for the North to get things done. So now we are working together as a unit for Lake Charles, because if that's the vision, is one Lake Charles, then it's time for us to implement that and not always slight it with wrong information, but to pull together and say, hey, this needs to be done over there. Talk to individual representatives of their specific districts to stand with North Lake Charles, Central Lake Charles, anyone that's in need, to be honest with you, any area that's in need, if it's not affecting you, then why not stand with it?
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Here's kind of some of the stuff I hear you're saying. Hey, look, so you move from North Lake Charles to South Lake Charles. It's a part of life. It happens. You decide that, hey, I want my family to go over here. Absolutely nothing wrong with that at all. Right. However, don't leave everybody else behind. Meaning, don't forget where you came from. Right. And this is kind of why I drive to Lake Charles all the time from Houston, is because I want people to understand, just because I don't live there anymore, I don't live on Blake Street where I grew up all my life, that doesn't mean I forgot where I came from. I forgot Lake Charles.
Right.
There's still things that I can do to help the city. And that's what I hear you saying. And that's definitely that's needed. And it happens like this in other communities. It happens even at the college level, right? You graduate from college, but it doesn't mean that you leave your college. This is why colleges get so much financial support, right? Because you graduate from the college and then you donate money back to the college to help the cause. So right. Same type of philosophy is what you're saying. Absolutely love that. Excuse me. What would you say, if you look back over your life, you've had a lot of successes, done a lot of things in your life, what was one of the most defining moments?
I would probably say the biggest moment would be my firstborn, Naya. That changed a lot of thought process for me. to know that now it's not about you. And that right there was, I guess, that transition. Okay, time to be a big boy now. Time to stop. It was fun, but now you got to look towards some other things. But from a business standpoint, I would say it was 2010 when was going through a divorce. Right, basically was setting up a plan. Me and the ex-wife was discussing how me leaving Dodge income and being able to use, getting her to be like, okay, look, I'll still be making money, but it won't be like it used to be till we can get it truly established. And then right when I was getting the location, signing the lease, bam, divorce come about. So I was kind of sitting there like, you know what? I'm not about to do this. Financially, I'm stepping in the waters with no safety net. I don't have a spouse that, financially I got the kids, and nah, I'm just going to sit here. I'll just continue to work out the house and then talk to my mom. And she was like, well, I'll come down there and help you. Cause she was retired. She said, I'll come to Lake Charles and I'll come help you. I'll be able to be with the kids more. And even the ex-wife was like, well, don't stop your dreams. I apologize, but it is what it is, but don't stop your dream. And I was, after hearing mom wanting the support, talking to, good friends, Adam Henry, and they was just, man, look, just go ahead and do it. And at the end of the day, we here for you. And to be able to step out, Cedrick, with no safety net whatsoever financially, and knowing that you got to get it in, even though I built up the clients over those 2 years, don't get me wrong, from 08, in the house to 10, it was still a risk because you didn't have those expenses.
Right.
So that defining moment, that when I got through year one, I was like, okay, we got through. And then when it hit 3 and then it hit 5, it was that moment to saying, regardless of what life threw at me, I still didn't deviate from the goal, which was to own my own business storefront.
Wow. So I absolutely love the journey you just walked us through. I hope our audience picked up on this, right? You clearly said, hey, look, I didn't have that safety net, that comfort zone that I could just go back into. But I'm stepping out on this, and I'm gonna take this risk. So, and I'm emphasizing here, Nwora, because we have entrepreneurs, we have people that want to be entrepreneurs, but they're afraid to step out. And they're going to be listening to this either live right now, or they're going to be listening to the replay at some point in time, because we're on 4 or 5 different Facebook pages, LinkedIn, and YouTube. So they're going to be listening to this, and they're going to be hearing you. But there's somebody right now listening that has a dream of being a business owner, but they're afraid because they don't have that safety net that they think that they need to have in order to succeed. So talk to those people, right? And tell them in that moment when they're trying to make that decision, and help them understand why it's so important to still go after that dream.
Okay. The biggest thing is that I feel when it comes to entrepreneurship is planning. Many times we just fail to plan. We just jump out because someone said that, oh, you're a great cook. Oh, you're a good seamstress. Oh, let me do a business. But they don't actually plan it. Once again, people have to realize that I worked a job while I was starting the lab design group, as I was building it. Once it got to the point of 50% of the time I'm working this job, the other 50% I'm working on the lab. So when the income got close enough to where I said to myself, well, hey, I can give this 100%. I should be able to make the same amount of money or more if I go ahead and step out. Okay. So I was able to do that and was able to pay the bills. But if you're teeter-tottering, okay, you have to give it your all There is no let me sleep in the beginnings. Those don't exist.
Right.
You know, it doesn't exist to where you can turn off being an entrepreneur. Okay. So for those who are scared, one of the biggest things is stop talking to workers. If you're an employee and you're trying to become an entrepreneur, stop talking to other employees because they're going to keep you in an employee mindset.
Oh, yeah.
You need to stop talking to entrepreneurs so that you can start to transition your mindset into entrepreneurs.
Now, hold on a sec, because I want you to say that again loudly, because somebody just missed what you just said. That's gold right there. Stop talking to say that again, because I need
Stop talking to other employees. Start talking to entrepreneurs. People that are employees and are working a job, that's what they are doing. That's their mindset.
Yeah.
It will not help you get to the next level because they could be spewing their own doubt on you, their negativity on you. Okay. They're okay with being comfortable. Okay. But an entrepreneur, there is just a little bit of uncomfort that you're going to go through as you start to establish. And if you're an entrepreneur and you're trying to become a developer, and not necessarily a developer in the sense of coding or anything like that, but I'm talking about as far as like what you're doing, as far as leading other entrepreneurs, becoming an owner of something in which you're not working on your business. At the end of the day, Cedrick, if something happens to me, I can't make a logo if I get in a wreck, so on and so forth. So how am I make money? So I got to transition out of doing the work myself and becoming that business owner that is working, on the business. But the only way I can do that, I got to stop talking to business owners that's in there doing the work.
Nwora, you just said something. So the law of environment says growth, thrive in conducive environment. So get around people who are doing what you want to do. And Stock, he said, quit talking to employees, talk to business owners, talk to entrepreneurs, right? But when we're done with this session, I'm going to a group. It's called the Black Entrepreneurs Institute. It's a group that me and 3 other business partners founded. And we teach in this boot camp entrepreneurs how to be entrepreneurs. Some of them are already entrepreneurs, how to take their business to the next level. But we're studying a book right now with a group of them called the E-Myth. And what you just said is exactly what I'm teaching tonight on. It's about getting outside your comfort zone. But in the book, the E-Myth, there are 3 types of people. There's the technician, the manager, and the entrepreneur. The technician is the one that's doing all the work. They just work, right? And they think like a technician, right? The manager then is about trying to lead people, but the entrepreneur, that's the business owner, that's the strategic thinking person. That's exactly what you're saying. So you're teaching the E-Myth book without even teaching the E-Myth book.
I mean, my goal, Cedrick, is to have multiple streams of income. Okay. I want to, and not to deviate. I don't want to be in a situation where everybody knows that I'm a graphic designer, but all of a sudden over here, I'm selling pizza.
Yeah.
I ain't trying to do that. I'm trying to keep it compartmentalized.
Yeah.
But I want to have it to where we have our web to print website where people can go in, just like Vistaprint. That'll be coming this year, to where people can go onto the site and print their own products. I want to be able to have it to where we have a number of software that people can use themselves. Just like how we go and get software like Hootsuite. Well, we have our own brand of that. So when I'm not doing anything, I'm making money. Okay. Yeah. And if we want to just flip it over to just Nwora, and that's away from the lab design group, is that I love track and field. I love sports, period. And one of the things is the goal that I've invested in is creating a training facility. But that's more like my fun stuff, to be able to train kids in any sport. Now, yeah, you know, football was what I went to college for, but track was just easy. Okay. So, and they didn't have a lot of track, you know, gurus or coaches in Lake Charles during the time that I started to coach. You know, they were more football, just, you know, doing it, but they, you know, they had successful careers. So my thing is, if I can wake up every morning and go to the bank account and it increased without doing any work because the work has already been put in years ago.
Yeah.
I want to sit on the beach, drinking Mai Tai, hanging out, and knowing that, oh, I'm making money right now.
Right.
And so in order to do those things, for me, is that certain things I need to learn still. Yes. So I try to invest in conferences, studies, books, whatever I can to just get that knowledge so that I can have it for myself and for, you know, my clients.
Yes, I get you. I understand you. Well, I tell you what, this hour has gone by fast and quick.
All right, so
yeah, it's amazing. But I've enjoyed you being on the show. I'm definitely gonna have to have you come back, and we're gonna dive deeper into this stuff because I enjoyed the conversation, and hopefully you did as well. Hold on, let me hold on a second. Let me. I've enjoyed you being on the show, folks. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. Share this post when you see it, and make sure that you understand, folks. I say it every time. If you're not at the table, you're on the menu, and when you're on the menu, folks, there's a problem. So thank you guys very much for tuning in tonight. Nwora, again, thank you for being here tonight, and we'll see you guys next time. Thank you guys, and have a good evening.
Thanks.